About a year ago, I chipped in on a Kickstarter for Makera Z1. It finally arrived. It's August 2026, and I was excited to pull it out of the box and start using it. But their recommended tutorial, the top clamp, didn't come with good instructions because the software is in beta test. And the software that's in the tutorial is their real version that hasn't come out yet. So if you're like me and you're eager to use your Z1, but you don't know how to get started, this tutorial's for you. We're going to make the top clamp with the beta software. So we're going to use the recommended bit, which is an 1/8 inch, 3.175 millimeter by 12 millimeter single flute O. The first step is to put the bit collar on using their little bit collar tool. Those are the bit collars that came with the machine. And this is not totally necessary. This is just to make tool changes a little quicker and a little easier. But you could totally do this without the bit collars. Here we go, the collar's installed. All right, we're going to use these little pins that came with the machine. And we're going to put them in for anchor point 1, which is the bottom left corner. So you take the little guide that they gave you, put the pins in, and put some of these M5 screws in. Now I'm going to use the aluminum plate that they gave us. It's 100 millimeters square by 5 millimeters thick. It's got this protective plastic on both sides that you got to peel off, so make sure you do that. And basically you just jam it down into that corner and put some more screws in to hold it down. You don't have to over tighten, it just has to be enough where it's not going to wiggle under stress. Now use the top clamps that they gave you and screw those into the side and top. They shouldn't wiggle at all. All right, so now we're going to load up Makera Cam. We're going to do a 3-axis project. Our stock is the right size already, 100 by 100 by 5. And I'm going to load up the 3D model from their website. This is the top clamp step file. I'm going to go to transform and rotate, and we're going to flip it -90, and we're going to register it in the bottom corner And I'm going to put it 6 millimeters away from the bottom and 6 millimeters away from the left. That way there I don't hit those screws that are holding down my aluminum. And I can check it to make sure it's lined up with the bottom, and it is. It fits right inside that stock. So now we're going to add a 3D pocket toolpath. And this is for the little lip around the outside. So we're going to start at depth 0, which is the top of the aluminum. I'm putting my clearance height and retract height at 15 millimeters just so I don't knock into anything. And I'm going to manually add the tool that they gave us, which is a flat end single flute 3.175 by 12 millimeter. It loads up the settings for that tool, and the defaults are just fine. The only thing I'm going to change is the tool number. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to call it tool 1, and I'm just going to keep that consistent. I am going to go with offset. And I want it climb, and I'm putting it inside out. You could probably do outside in, but this is just a preference of mine. Now I just selected the little lip around it, and that's important because it needs to know where you're putting this pocket toolpath. Make sure you turn on ramping, and I use 10 millimeters. Now, when you do calculate, you should see 2 passes in the white lines there. You should see the 2 passes going around that outside lip. That's it for the 3D pocket. Now we're going to add a 3D contour. This is going to be for that little slot on the inside. So have it choose a face and rotate around to the bottom. This is important because whatever face you select, it's going to use that not only to generate the contour, the outline, but also the depth. So use the bottom so it goes all the way down. Then you pick the little white line on the inside. You'll see that it's dotted. That means it's selected. My end depth offset, I'm going to put 0.3 millimeters. That means it's going to go 0.3 millimeters down below that dotted line. So it's going to go all the way through. My clearance height and retract height, again, I'm just putting at 15 just to be safe. My tool is already chosen for me. My settings are already there. I am going to change it back to tool 1 so it doesn't think that it has to change tools halfway through. Now we're going to do an inside contour because we want to cut out the inside of that dotted line. And again, I'm going to go to offset. I just prefer that for this. You could do parallel. It doesn't really matter. I am going to put it on climb. And ramping, again, 10 millimeters. Hit calculate, and you can see that it goes down past the bottom. That's what we want. We want it to cut all the way through. Otherwise, you will be left with a little aluminum skin. All right, last but not least, we got to cut out the entire top clamp. So add another 3D contour. Do face selection again. Select that bottom face, generate contours, and then select the outside this time. So now we've got that dotted line on the outside. My end depth offset is going to be 0.3 again. My clearance height and retract height have stayed. My tool number has stayed, so that's all good. I'm going on the outside this time. Climb again. And this cutting order doesn't really matter on this one. Ramping, I'm going to do 10 millimeters again, and this time I'm going to turn on tabs. Let's put them to rectangle, leave them at 5 millimeters wide, and the thickness, let's just put that at 0.4. It's just going to give us a teeny little thin tab. And then tabs per contour, let's do 3. If you hit generate and calculate, you should see your tool path goes all the way through, just like before. and you should see that it ramps up just a little bit where the tabs are. So now we're going to export our NC code. Make sure that all 3 tool paths are checked. And I'm just going to call it top clamp with my initials and save. That's it. We are done with Makera Cam. So now we load up the Carvera controller. I'm going to connect to my machine. Instructions for this did come with the machine, so I'm not including that. I'm opening my G-code and I go to upload file. And I'm going to find my top clamp NC code, upload and select. So that puts it onto the Z1. And now we're looking at the actual toolpaths on the Z1. And all I got to do is hit run. And I'm going to check scan margin and check auto Z probe. And I'm going to make sure that we are at 0, 0 for our offset from anchor 1. Anchor 1 is that little L-shaped ruler that they gave us. Now when I hit run, it's going to tell me to put in the probe because I checked the auto probe. So I go over to the machine. I pull down on the handle. I put the probe in and pull up on the handle. Now the probe is locked in place. I hit the little button on the front to continue to tell it, hey, I changed the tool. And it's going to do a little touch off to make sure that it's got the proper tool length. And after it does that, it's going to go over to my material and scan the margin, which means it's going to show me the outline of where it's going to cut. And this is good for verifying that it's not going to hit anything like screws or clamps or, whatever. Now it's going to do the auto probe that I told it to do. And I actually went back and told it to touch off in 6 different places just to get, just to try that feature. So what you're seeing here is it's probing the metal in 6 different places, and it's going to auto level the material in the program. This would be great for like a 3D relief or something like that. This stock is totally flat, so this was overkill. Okay, now it's going to continue the program. So now it's going to go over to home position, and the light is going to change color, and it's telling me to put my tool in. So I release that tool. I'm going to hang the probe back up in the little probe holder, and I'm going to put my 3.175 end mill in, and I'm going to lock the handle down. I push the little button on the front, and it goes to touch off the tool, get the tool length. So now it's ready to do the 3D pocket that we told it to do. So the little lips around the edges of the top clamp, it's going to go ahead and carve those out. Moment of truth. Here we go. I was surprised by how easy it cuts and how cleanly it cuts. There's no jitter, no stutter. It's very, very smooth. The only thing that I wasn't really impressed with was the dust collection. I did get their Cyclone dust collector, and it did not seem to do a whole lot. So you'll see at some points I do actually stick a vacuum in there and suck up some of the chips, when I thought it was getting a little bit full. And I'm just fast forwarding so that I can show you what it looks like when it's done. And that right there is our finished top clamp. It turned out really, really nice in my opinion. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more CNC tutorials.